Hashtag trending is made possible by the generous support of Zoho Canada, a unique and powerful software suite to transform the way you work. Designed for businesses of all sizes, built by a company that values your privacy. Visit them at zoho.com. 25% of bosses hoped return to office would make staff quit. HP reports a 20% drop in printed pages since the pandemic. Frontier hackers threaten to leak data for 750,000 plus customers. And what will happen at Apple Worldwide Developers Conference next week? These stories and more on the We Knew It All Along edition of Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. A new study from HR software company Bamboo HR presents sobering data over the true motivations and effects of return to office mandates. According to the survey of over 1,500 employees, a quarter of executives and a fifth of HR professionals openly admitted they hoped return to office, RTO, would lead employees to voluntarily leave. The findings back up suspicions that for some companies, RTO pushes were essentially employed as stealthy pseudo-layoffs amid the tight labor market. Over a third of leadership respondents said their firms had undertaken actual layoffs in the past year when not enough staffers quit over RTO rules. The survey paints a picture of plummeting employee morale and rising workplace surveillance in the wake of RTO policies. 42% of staffers now say they come into the office solely to be visible to managers, while remote employees feel compelled to demonstrate hyper-availability. Anita Grantham, Bamboo HR's head of HR, calls it distrusting and performative culture and detrimental to growth. She urged companies to have an open discussion around work models that avoids micromanagement. The data reflects earlier signs that return to office largely failed to achieve the desired boost in productivity and engagement. With employee happiness already at a low, the findings suggest many companies badly mishandled the transition and jeopardized their culture in the process. HP CEO Enrique Lores revealed a stark reality facing the print industry. The number of pages being printed has dropped by around 20% compared to pre-pandemic levels. Speaking at the Bernstein Annual Strategic Decision Conference, Lores attributed the decline to hybrid work models, leading to fewer people in offices every day. Before the pandemic, our estimates were that we were expecting to see a 20% reduction of printing, and actually, this is more or less where we are, Lores stated. While printing spiked temporarily during lockdowns as people worked from home, Lores said home printing has also seen a recent downturn. This drop poses a big challenge for HP and its rivals as reduced printed output impacts sales of printers and, more importantly, ink and toner. HP's print hardware revenue has now fallen for 9 consecutive quarters. And compounding the issue, Lores noted customers are extending the life of existing printers rather than upgrading, further impacting future revenue streams. However, HP is countering by pushing more subscriptions for ink, toner, and printers. It now has over 13 million subscribers across various plans. Although I have to say, this has probably not been one of their more successful customer experience triumphs. As a tech publisher, we used to get angry letters about digital identity. Now, we get emails about printer subscription plans. The company is, however, betting on better times with hopes for a recovery in industrial and commercial printing, where label and packaging output is rebounding after recent declines. Telecommunications giant Frontier Communications is dealing with a massive fallout after a cyber attack exposed private data for over 750,000 customers. And the hackers are threatening to leak even more unless their ransom demands are met. In mid-April, the Ransom Hub cybercrime group breached Frontier's systems, accessing names, addresses, dates of birth, social security numbers, and other very sensitive information for 750,000 customers, according to notices filed. The hackers claim to have data on 2 million Frontier subscribers in total and have given the company until June 14th to pay an undisclosed ransom. If not, they are threatening to publish the entire 5-gigabyte trove of stolen personal and financial details online. Frontier has notified impacted customers and is providing a year of free credit monitoring, but the company maintains that no financial data like credit card numbers were accessed despite the hackers' claims. In response to this criminal extortion scheme, Frontier says it has bolstered network defenses, alerted authorities, and was forced to temporarily shut down some systems to contain the breach. And it's that time of year for predictions. Who will win the Stanley Cup? Who's going to win the NBA Finals? And what will Apple introduce at its Worldwide Developer Conference next week? According to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, there will be Apple Intelligence features powered by OpenAI, which will be opt-in by default across iOS, Mac OS, and iPad OS. Now, this contrasts with Microsoft and Google, which have their services included by default. Apple is leaving this to user choice. So rather than prioritizing splashy generative AI capabilities, Apple is said to be focusing on AI features with broad appeal and real usefulness. Rumors are that Apple Intelligence features will include an OpenAI-powered chatbot, possibly a revamped version of Siri that could finally do something useful. Other predictions are, again, for practical things like web page summaries, voice memos transcriptions, suggested text replies, automated mail triaging, and of course, something we've all been praying for, custom emoji creation. I'm making fun of this, but somehow I think this is going to be a big hit, says the guy whose only emoji is a colon, a dash, and a bracket, and I'm thrilled when it returns a smiley face. But I think this is probably going to be the surprise of the conference. But the AI rollout will do more. It will also emphasize data privacy, which is a big thing for Apple. Apple will keep to its on-device processing where possible using Apple's neural engine chips. And for cloud-based processing, where it must process in the cloud, Apple reportedly plans to assure users their data won't be monetized or used for profiling. The cat? Only Apple's latest A17 Pro and M series processors will support all local AI capabilities at launch. Beyond AI, the Worldwide Developer Conference updates are expected to include redesigned Control Center and setting apps, new messaging features, and a standalone password manager, as well as an iPad calculator app. While it's light on hardware releases, the event could preview Macs that are refreshed with next-gen M3 or M4 chips. Nobody's certain. But by making powerful AI features opt-in with robust privacy protections, Apple appears to be staking out a differentiation in an increasingly crowded AI market, rife with surveillance and security concerns. Now remember, these are only predictions, so we'll have to wait and see. For what it's worth, for me, the Celtics and the NBA are logical, the Oilers and the Stanley Cup are hopeful, and Siri that can actually do something useful, nothing short of a miracle. And that's our show for today. Hashtag Trending goes to air 5 days a week with a daily news show and a weekend interview show we call, so creatively, the Weekend Edition. Show notes are at technewsday.ca or .com, either one works. And we love your comments. Contact me at editorial@technewsday.ca. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a terrific Tuesday.